Welcome to Beerstories from Beerstory Brewhouse. This video is my best tips for brewing high ABV beer like the Westfleton or just big stouts around 10 ABV or higher. Remember, if you like the video, please click like and subscribe down the corner. You'll help out the channel, you'll make me very happy, and you'll get the newest videos directly in the YouTube feed. Also, try and find me on Facebook and Instagram. So when I say high ABV beers, I'm thinking of beers above 10% ABV or higher, or an original gravity about 1080 to 1090 or higher than that. I often see in forums, Facebook and so on, that people have trouble with fermentation, with the stock fermentation. So these tips are both a little bit about the process to gain enough sugar from your malts, but also to get the best fermentation possible. And of course I'll link some videos down in the description, double mashing and a guide to good fermentation as well. And other videos that will help you with this. But here's my, it's 8 tips for brewing these higher ABV beers. And the first one, rice hulls. They will make your malts not stick together, and you'll have more wort circulating your grains, and that would actually help to draw out all the sugars that you need. 2 to 5% of your grain bill should be rice hulls. That was number 1. Number 2, double mashing. There's a video down in the description on how to do that. I can have in my all-in-one system, I can have, if I really push it to the limit, I can have 9 kilos of malts in there, but the efficiency will go down. So I always do a double mash if I'm using more than 8 kilos of malts for a 5-gallon brew. Yeah, so double mash, that's, yeah. If you want, you can just add sugar to get the original gravity up, but I won't recommend that. I feel it's kind of like cheating, but if you have to do these big beers, you have to double mash. Basically, you can't fit all that malt or your grain bill into your brew system. So do that. The next one, yeast nutrition. This is just really important to add just in the last 5 minutes of the boil or so. If it's a really toxic environment for the yeast to be pitched in a wort with such a high gravity. So you need to do everything you can to make the yeast feel better. Yeast nutrition is one of them. Yeah, basically you have to do this, or you will probably get a stock fermentation 50% of the times. Aeration of your wort, that's also pretty important, and it's kind of harder for homebrewers to do. Basically you need some equipment to do it. You need an oxygen tank and so on. But there's a little tip that you can use. It's not enough, it's not perfect, but it's better than doing nothing. And it's actually just when your wort has cooled down, and that's really important because hot wort can't contain oxygen very well. So the dissolved oxygen will actually just vaporize from the hot wort when you boil it. So when you cool down your wort and you place it in your fermentation chamber or fermentation tank, you have to shake it for about a minute, and that will make the oxygen that's in here will get dissolved. Some of it will get dissolved in the wort and give the yeast a better start. It's not perfect. if you have the equipment to do it, you should oxygenate your wort the real way, just with an oxygen tank. But shaking it will help also. The next tip is using enough yeast. 5 to 6 packages of yeast. You have to use that much for about a 5 gallon brew. Basically, as I said, the wort is a toxic environment for the yeast, so you have to really make sure that you have enough yeast in there to eat all that sugar, to avoid off flavors, to avoid stressed yeast in general, and that will cause off flavors, but it can also cause a stock fermentation if there's not enough yeast in there. So use enough yeast. And to give the yeast a better start, if you have the opportunity or the equipment to do a yeast starter, you should do that. If you don't have that, at least rehydrate your yeast. There's a video in the description how to do that. Just to give the yeast a better start. Low ABV beers, about 1065 OG or lower, it's not really necessary to rehydrate yeast or to make a yeast starter per se. But above that, it's important. A fermentation chamber where you can control the temperature is also pretty important. I brewed a beer once, 10% ABV beer with SO4 yeast, and I had it in my basement at 15 degrees Celsius, but still the temperature in the fermentation tank, it rose to 26 degrees Celsius. I thought that was crazy. I never seen anything like that. So from that day on, I'm always putting my beers in a fermentation chamber where I can control the temperature. And the last one, if you get a stock sparge, get a stock fermentation, one thing you can try to do is shaking the fermentation tank a bit, just to get all the yeast from the bottom up in suspension again. That can help the fermentation. You can also try other things like adding more yeast and so on. But making a good preparation of the yeast and the wort with nutrition and doing all these steps that I just told you, you shouldn't actually get a stock fermentation. So take care of your yeast and you will be fine. If you stick to the end, YouTube will show you 2 videos up here that it wants you to see. And remember, click like and subscribe down in the corner. You'll make me very happy. You'll help out the channel. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. So if you have any questions at all, write to me in the comments, write to me on Facebook and Instagram and so on. You can also find me through my website, beerstories.dk. But other than that, well, just have a happy brewing out there.